Testing. I kind of wonder if this is how I'm going to start all of my recordings, is testing, because that's generally what I do. So, yeah. Alright, so here I am. I am starting the stream so I can draw some stuff, and we'll have some fun and see how that works. I'm going to just check to make sure whether or not my audio is coming through. And audio is coming through. Well, I just did. You may have heard me there. I was just checking to see if I could actually hear the video on my actual Twitch stream, for very little good reason apart from the fact that I said so that my computer can't actually make me hear it, because then I get an echo. But just wanted to check. So here we are again. I know it has been a little while since the last time I did any kind of a drawing stream thingy, and ordinarily I would feel bad about giving excuses, but I mean, this is a stream where I'm going to be having a conversation with people, so I probably have to have some kind of a topic. And the topic right now is that I upgraded my computer by adding a new hard drive. Well, a second hard drive. Well, the other one's a solid state drive. So not technically new. What is a new? Well, anyway, I got a hard drive put a hard drive into my computer last week, and then I was going to do some streaming, but it turned out that installing the hard drive was not as easy as it was theoretically supposed to be. And I will chalk that partially up to my computer, and partially up to probably me. Not really. Well, it's that phrase that people like to say about how they know enough about computers to be dangerous. It's kind of the same thing. Yes, B, it's going to be very fun. We're going to enjoy this and be happy listening to me talk about how my computer is cool and fun and then messes up for no good reason. So, basically, two things I ran into when I opened up my computer to try and put my new hard drive into said computer. One is that I didn't have enough places to plug anything in on my computer for like a new hard drive, because I was already using the slots on my motherboard for a disk drive, DVR thing. And then, well, that, and I also didn't have a good space to plug it in for the power supply as well, or at least I didn't have, it was I didn't have the cords to plug in the power supply, because I didn't realize that the hard drive would come with something like that. And actually, to be honest, I'd forgotten that it needed something like that. So, yeah, so I ended up cannibalizing the parts from, or the cords from my disk drive to use for my second hard drive thing instead. Which, yeah, stick a fork in it, yeah, it'll be fun and tasty. Or something. I don't know. It'll be tasty fun. But anyway, yeah, that was fun. It worked out, I don't really use the disk drive for anything. It was mostly I got one and put it in there because I was still kind of in that place in my brain where you think you need to have a disk drive. One of these days you kind of sort of don't, especially since you can't built-in play DVDs on your computers anymore for some stupid reason. So anyway, that part worked out. And then I took the computer back down to my recording area, plugged everything back in, and the computer decided to forget how to interact with my drawing tablet, this fancy tablet thing I'm using right now, which is an XP Pen tablet, which, to be honest, it works pretty cool, except when it doesn't work. Like, essentially, whenever Windows decides to forget how to deal with it. Basically, whenever I unplug this thing from the USB spot, like if I need to move it to a different one, or if my computer, I need to unplug it to open it up and stuff, my computer then completely forgets how to deal with this and starts trying to install Microsoft's fancy schmancy tablet driver thingies, and then it is bad and doesn't work, and just basically acts like I don't have a tablet built in, or that I don't like that or like it actually decides that the pen is like 6 inches away from where I'm actually tapping the screen, which is kind of a weird thing for it to do. But anyway, then I had a whole big misadventure trying to re-download the drivers, and then I was downloading the wrong drivers because labeling is bad. It is very bad in the records, where I was trying to find the right drivers, and in looking it up, I went to the place I bought this from, which was on Amazon, and they somehow, messed up the purchase page and the purchase records of this, so that it looked like I bought a different, newer version of the tablet. So it was kind of telling me to go for those newer drivers, which were wrong. And then I just sort of happened to notice it, and actually look at one of the older models of the tablet, which is this one, on the XP website, and said, hey, that looks more like my tablet. I'm going to go ahead and download those ones and see if it works. And it worked. And then so my tablet started working again, but then at that point in time was way later than I wanted it to be, while I was drawing in front of potential audience people. And so I put that off for another day. This is like on, I think it would be a combination of Friday and then Saturday. Saturday was when I was actually putting the drive. I was actually putting the drive in. And so then on Sunday, I decided to have some, that would be a good time to start off moving my files to the new drive, because the whole point of the new drive is that I was running out of drive space on my my terabyte space solid state drive. And the funny thing about the funny thing about that is, this is kind of probably the part where one can legitimately say that I know enough about computers to be dangerous to myself about them, because just for quick background, I built this computer myself, so I actually assembled it, and it's cool and it works fine, except there are certain things I don't necessarily automatically think. Because when I decided to move all my stuff over to the new drive so it would have, be there with more space, I basically just started copying all my files in music, videos, pictures, art, documents, And documents, yes, yes, yeah. That's the part where I didn't realize that my documents was more than just where I would put things that I'd written, like like writing projects or cool little PDFs I've purchased over the years or things like that. That's what I thought my documents were, and that's what I expected. I was moving from one drive to the other, except apparently there's some extremely vital files in my documents that tell the computer how to do certain things, and I didn't realize that because I just didn't realize that. And so, oh boy. So then I spent another chunk of time trying to figure out which files I'd moved and which, what was missing, because all of my saved information for like palettes, for art palettes and stuff, for mangas, I'm gonna keep calling them manga studios, clip studios, were gone. There's this MMO I play, Final Fantasy 14, and all my presettings for that had gone, and a bunch of my game save stuff was gone, and stuff. And so yeah, there was that caused another delay, and I basically got everything back, where I basically just ended up copying all of my documents back over from the new drive to back to my old drive, my C drive, as it were, and pretty much most of everything worked again. Most of everything went back to the way it is. My palettes are still here, or are back, but that kind of ate up a lot of time, mostly because I just didn't realize that documents was also vital, important things. It's not just a place for you to drop your Excel sheet, character sheet for your Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and stuff. Because apparently that's also where you put those, or where I put them all, and I'm pretty sure that's where everyone puts their actual documents. And yeah, so anyway, that's been solved. Everything's back to normal there, and so then I have the space to do this artwork thing again. So, and then I had 1 week where I just had a panic attack for some reason. So, well, probably not as major a thing as a panic attack, but I was just feeling a little bashful and anxious, and didn't have it in me to sit down and stream. So actually, I guess it was 2 weekends ago that I had those computer issues, and then last weekend I didn't have me a stream. The timeline is weird in my head, so please forgive me of that. But so that's why it's taken so long between streams. Yes. Hopefully I will be forgiven by anyone who cares. And yeah. Alright, so coming back here, I guess we should get back to actually talking about the artwork that I'm doing. So kind of in the place right now where I'm halfway cleaning up the line work, and actually making the lines look less scrabbly and stuff, more bold, and more direct. And halfway thinking about where I want to go with some of the detail work. And I have to admit, I don't know how many artists feel this way, but I do kind of like this part where we're at the part where I'm just taking what I've already drawn and just refining it, because I don't have to think too much about, like, it's not like I'm trying to invent something at this point. It's just sort of this kind of zen-ish feel. But I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm going to have to think about, well, this whole thing here looks awfully simplistic to me. I feel like I should be putting more detail work into her gown. And to do that, I'm going to need to think about what kind of detail work is going to need to go there, like how elaborate this gown is going to want to be. And that's the part I'm feeling a little bit anxious about, because I don't think that drawing complex outfits, well, this is a complex outfit, I guess, but outfit intricacies are exactly what I would consider to be my strongest suit. Since I do tend to do a lot of fun, what I think of as fun, broad strokes kind of artwork, a lot of the finer, like say, I don't draw things. I'm running into a hiccup here in my brain and my words. But I guess I don't draw. I like to draw stuff that doesn't look too busy, I guess. And sometimes I have a problem trying to figure out where detail becomes busy and where not detail becomes plain. So that's the part I'm not quite putting off, because I do need to do this refining work here. But I also not sure I'm looking forward to the next part, because I'm not sure how much of a handle I have on making the dress that she's wearing look interesting. And not that dresses always have to be super elaborate or anything like that. But this is probably the overthinking things part of the conversation. Right? Yeah, I have that. Okay, that's good. Nah. So, there we go. Getting the glasses working here. Like that. Nicely lined in. Marking this. you might have noticed that I'm trying to avoid being self-deprecating during this whole streaming thing, because I don't think that's exactly a good thing for myself. But you see where some of the lines are a little bit wobbly. I have the stabilization cranked up super high, so that will hopefully be of help. But also still kind of cartoonishly crazy. This particular rendition of this character is based on how she was described to me at one point as sort of being like this, like one of those like a demon of, like, say, I'm not even entirely sure. I can't remember what you would call this genre of demon, like Goetish or something like that. Like, but basically one of those old renditions of demons where they just are, like, in like Kabbalish or something, like where they were just, like, say, have all these limbs going everywhere and are very stylized, and like this is one demon. I bet that B, who actually came up with this, ours go there. She is. Thank you very much, B. Thank you for helping me carry this. But yes, but anyway, she was describing this character in that way, and I just couldn't help but imagine all these arms in a pinwheel and the hair, like the mane, like, yeah, Buer, yeah, that's the fella. But it's just kind of what this whole thing that she's doing is based on, is that description that I was given regarding this character and how she works. That's where all of this is coming from. Man, B, you really should have. I really wish there was some kind of weird Goetish demon emote that you could put next to Buer there. Like just having that be like a smiley or emote in Twitch. That would be kind of fun. Yes, it would be pretty great, wouldn't it? Okay, so let's center this up and step back a moment. See what else I think it might need from here. Not sure if I should be thickening the lines more right now. I mean, on some level I think it looks kind of okay right now, but yay, let's zoom in and see how crazy it looks when you zoom in on things like this. this is just a manifestation of my compulsive need to poke at things until I think I like them. At some point, I am probably going to actively go in and probably try to clean up all this stuff that you see, like these spared hatching lines and that kind of thing, which is admittedly probably going to take a little bit of a while. So that will be a fun stream, I expect. Here's where we get interesting. Pull back a little. Make a new layer. Call the new layer. Which pass are we on? Just call it detail pass. Okay, we'll call it detail pass. This is where I'm going to fiddle a bit with the dress and see if anything interesting comes out of that. Mind me. Just going to do this off screen for a moment. Going to take a quick look at something. Okay. Also, it's on the wrong layer. Darn it. Do the proper layer. Fill a bit with this. Just trying to come up with some interesting ideas regarding making this gown she's wearing look maybe just a bit less like some kind of like a hospital gown, you know, like, you know, less simplistic, or say nightgown, but you know, I guess there are some fairly intricate nightgowns out there too. So this part of the stream might be a bit on the looser side because at this point I'm actually still trying to figure out what I want to do with this. I will admit that I'm poking around as well at gown references just to get an idea of how gowns tend to work in places other than just inside of my brain, like, you know, my memories. because I kind of know how they work, and still, but it's just in my brain. So hopefully you will all forgive my time is taking to do this. Just one sec. I'm being asked a question somewhere else. I'm gonna check in. And I'm sorry, this is not super exciting. Sorry, someone was asking me whether or not I had a portfolio, and I have at certain points in my life. I actually have a degree in art of the bachelor's kind, but it has been a while since I've put together an actual portfolio, which honestly, now that I'm saying it out loud, sounds like it's something I should really get back on doing again, because that's a really helpful way of having people know what your art can be like. I have like a dozen sketchbooks full of stuff, and my computer has a lot of art either scanned in or drawn. And it's been a while since I've actually organized that in what would be a useful manner, which, feels a bit icky that I haven't got something like that going on right now, which probably don't particularly want to make this feel like a being down on myself kind of a scream, but I guess this is kind of me discussing things, so I guess that's part of discussing where I am and things. Man, doing like a live drawing stream is weird. You know that? On some level, it is about like finding an excuse to draw and do stuff and show people my artwork, which is something I have had some issues with at times, is the whole process of showing people what I've done, my artwork. So that can be a little on the shy side, and part of this is also a performative thing, because I have to speak and be interesting on camera, and that whole bit right back there where I had to step away and type something was probably not a super interesting part for anyone, so I apologize for that. Though, I'm not super sure why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, but I'm going to add some texture to this and see how it turns out. The whole thing about drawing and then having people watch me draw, that in of itself is one thing. The whole talking while I'm drawing is the part where I am concerned about whether or not I'm being, entertaining enough, I guess I would say. But I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a thing. I'm not sure that I would say that I'm necessarily doing this to gain like a viewership or anything like that, as much as to have an excuse to draw things and put them in a place where people might see them. And yet at the same point in time, it'd be really kind of nice to get the feeling that people enjoy what I'm drawing. That would be kind of neat. So that's a thing. Oh, that's kind of neat. But yeah, I was telling someone that was asking me a question is I do have a sort of a Twitter art thing. Like just a Twitter I'm using just to when I feel like posting artwork I've drawn, which a lot of people use Twitter for. And I haven't really done a tremendous amount on it lately. Partly because I've kind of been setting this thing up, and partly because I don't know. Partly because I don't know. That's one of the weird things about being an artist sometimes. Is sometimes you're doing stuff for yourself because that's what you want to do, and you want to do stuff to show. Yeah, I mean, more or less for your. Well, you want to draw what you kind of have in your brain, and yet at the same time you also kind of want to show it to other people, but are also sometimes intimidated by the prospect of showing stuff to other people, and also intimidated by how taken sometimes folks get with other people's artworks. Like just that it becomes their big fascination, and then you look at your own thing and you wonder, what am I doing that's actually worth looking at? And you look at your, like things where you put your artwork up and try and see, to what degree people seem to have you responding to it, and you then look at how much people respond to other people's artworks, and then you get really intimidated. Yeah, you get intimidated, or at least I sometimes do. Which that's the thing about being an artist is the fact that to some degree you have to I don't know if I want to say grow a thick skin, because I'm not sure I'm talking about the whole people being critical of your artwork kind of thing, but you have to go into it and not know if people are actually going to respond or even care about the things that you draw or do. And I don't know, that's tough. I'm not sure if part of the reason I've sometimes been intimidated at the idea of trying to put my artwork out is because I am anxious about the prospect of no one caring. Like apathy being, the response. Yeah, I know, this got really kind of meh, or just kind of grim, or anxious or whatnot. I'm sorry if that was that. Sorry about that. And then you think about how to make it. You have to be confident in what you're doing, and confident and just not give up and sell yourself really when you get down to it. And that's kind of one of the things I sometimes worry about, is I'm not as bold as some folks are. And I'm not sure how much that affects or is problematic to me. Like, is there a room for shy artists, I guess, that kind of thing. And it's weird because I can perform. I'm not really afraid of public speaking or getting up on a stage or things like that. So, and there are some things that just don't bother me that would bother some people. But yeah, I like these folds very much for some reason. But what was I saying? I don't really usually have a problem with performing per se, public speaking or acting or things like that. But I do sometimes get anxious about the prospect of not knowing whether or not people actually want me to be there. If I feel like I'm welcome, that's one thing. I feel like I'm supposed to be somewhere. That's a thing. But if I'm uncertain that my presence is welcome or has interest to people, I am sometimes less confident. Also, sorry if I go over things here and then back off on them, but really not. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to have going, but certain aspects of this. So, thank you for bearing with me on this matter. Some of his clothing folds are just a pain in the butt. A pain in the butt. So this was kind of the part I was sort of being apprehensive about on this end of things. This is looking kind of okay. Yeah, and then I start working on the artwork and I become quiet because I'm thinking about what to do, and then like, well, I'm actually recording, so I should probably be saying some things, you know? I should probably be talking to people as I'm doing this. And yeah, so thanks B. Also, I'm sorry if I didn't notice that because the screen wasn't open until too late. You know, sorry it took a while for me to notice that, Hug, because I didn't have that Twitch part of the thing right in front of me at that time when I was checking on something else and didn't come back up. But thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. I wonder how one even about this. I do sometimes wonder how one actually becomes, you know, like an art streamer as a, you know, like so that people subscribe and watch. If that's a thing that actually happens, or if you just do this to, again, this is more or less why I'm doing this, is just to encourage myself to draw and be more comfortable drawing and having people see what I'm drawing, you know, be able to show my stuff, you know, for folks to watch or to look at in the first place. And that's another weird thing I think about sometimes, is like when you're doing a stream like this, it's sort of as a vulnerable moment, if you will. You know, so you're putting yourself out there, you're letting people see what you do, what you draw, and you're doing it while people are watching you do it. So vulnerable kind of a moment. But where does, how okay is it to be vulnerable during a moment like this? Or are you supposed to be super confident at all times and not reveal, like, weakness or whatever? That you have to be bold and unafraid and stuff. So I'm sure there are super confident streamers out there in terms of streaming and drawing their artwork, and that are just super bold, and people are like, they're awesome and stuff. And is it okay to admit that this kind of thing makes me anxious? Is that maybe I should be drawing with a slightly smaller pen line when I'm doing detail work? Probably yes. Probably I should. That is probably a fair assessment. It's something I think about when I'm doing this. Is like me going off on that little bit of a, I don't want to say a rant or a tirade or anything, but that spiel about what I get anxious about. Is that something that people find is endearing and makes the stream more interesting, or is it sort of like something that would make people wonder why they're actually bothering to listen? It's that like bit of vulnerability, I guess. I actually don't know. Which I guess is fair. I don't know, because this is what maybe my third or fourth stream that I've ever actually done, at all in a stream form. So, I've only got like 2 streams listed on my, on my Twitch, because, those are the ones I saved. But I did a couple test bits as well. Make this a little smaller. Did a couple of test bits as well, so it's not exactly entirely my first or second or third. It's not exactly my third, but still. Okay. So I guess it's okay that there are things I still haven't 100% worked out. Rotate this. We'll make it bigger. Now we'll rotate it a little bit. Yeah. Maybe at some point this will look like a thing. not like that line. Okay, so we'll move that a little bit. And we'll just move these little bits. Just move them a little. Yeah. Okay, so now we'll do this. Okay, so I'm gonna pull back a little bit on this and think about what I think about this. I do kind of think it's fun. So that is a plus. I'll deepen these a little bit. Zoom in a little bit on this. Erase a little bit on these straight bits here. Do some lined bits here. Beer. By the way, did any of you, well, do either of you, I should say, right at the moment, because right now there are two people watching. I know one of you saw what my stream looks like when I'm not streaming. I have a cool little dragon-y thing going on there, which I think is fun. And I think it's just an entertaining little thing to have when it's between streams. You know, you have to have some kind of a character to your streamery. And I hope that is fun. Back down because I'm going at the detail lines now. Again. There we are. do this. No, that's the wrong thing. I didn't. Well, nothing came of it, so I guess it's okay. There we are. 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 A little bit of cleanup, which is actually turning out pretty okay. So now we gotta go back in here. So this is always the kind of the sort of the part of the thing that's weird. I'm sorry, I probably already talked about this. Is thinking of ways of not having dead air when you're drawing stuff, and that you also need to be focusing on what you're drawing. Yeah. And so, that whole bit about my computer problems, that was kind of fun and useful to have right at the beginning of the whole stream, because that wasn't just a ready-made topic for me to talk about. So, you gotta, with this, the dot went away. No! It went away again. There, it's still there. That's what I wanted. I want it to still be there. And redo this line. But, it's important to keep a momentum, so I have to think of other things to talk about. Right now, I guess would say I'm kind of liking what I'm doing with this little design here, which is kind of sort of intended to look a little bit like little lacy skulls, which, this lady is kind of goth as heck, so I think that kind of works for her, to have that for the embroidering on her gown. Little skulls. Kind of abstracted skulls, mind you, but over the eye. Deselect. Redo the line. Yeah. Erase the extraneous part. Redo the line. Erase the extraneous part. Ah! Erase the wrong part. There we go. There we are. So, what I like about this here is that I'm putting together a sort of a pattern which, is feels a little simple to me. Like in terms of being relatively basic, but adds some texture to the dress. And I'm generally speaking, I'm pretty fond of, keeping it simple, and clear and well understood, easy to read quickly when it comes to art designs, to things I'm drawing. So didn't really want to make this too elaborate, but I also didn't want it to look like a hospital gown or something like that, or a little bit like, which I guess it was, kind of the Ringu kind of a gown. It's kind of a hospital gown looking thing, and that's kind of what I was trying to avoid. despite the fact that this character does sometimes rather invoke that Yuri kind of spirit appearance. Don't worry, this is not going to be blue. That's just my code for drawing something that makes it distinct from what was drawn underneath it, which is a little something I've learned from books on drawing comics, is that comic books would use what's, blue line pencils or something on that level to do the drawing that would then eventually be inked over. And if the blue lines were something that didn't read, they were very see-through, so it was easier to draw over them. The details of it are escaping me right at this moment, but it was a lot easier or clearer to, you could have them there, and it'd be easy to pick them out from the, the initial drawing than, say an actual black pencil or something, an actual black pencil line. So it's easier to draw them. It's easier to see them distinctly when you were drawing over them. See them being as distinct from, like, say, pen lines. And it, kind of works well, in my experience, with digital drawing, because digital drawing much more so, in my personal experience, than, analog drawing, if you will, with actual physical pen and paper, pencil and paper, that kind of thing. It's hard to draw a line distinct from the lines that are underneath it. Like if you start, sketching something out, then you have to draw over that darker to be clearer. The lines end up being muddier. So doing each pass in a different color initially is a good way, in my experience, of mitigating that kind of effect. Basically of making it clearer to see the different layers and what's just a rough part of it, the sketch line part, and which part of it is the actual line that's going to be staying with you for longer. Well, I think there's something to say. How long have I been doing this? Well, about an hour now. That's pretty good. I might make this somewhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours, and then be done on that. Because eventually this is going to be, a bit much to keep up that sustained energy. In terms of, talking and having, I keep forgetting to go back to the smaller pencil lines, which, ink lines. Well, that's sad. Let's be fair, this thing does have some pretty nice pressure settings, so you can actually go surprisingly dark or surprisingly thin pretty easily with the pen tool. Clip Studio is pretty handy that way, and was actually relatively inexpensive. Yeah, I think I got it for like, somewhere between $75 and $100, and then I was able to upgrade it when they had an upgrade for free. So it's like one of the newest versions, or something like that. So it's nice. So, I've also thought that I might end up using the stream for occasionally other things, like I might experiment a little bit with streaming video games, but I haven't really gotten to that point where that's actually been a decision yet. A thought that might be thinkable. Yeah, and hopefully this reads okay at a distance, because when it comes to drawing the same thing over and over again, like as a pattern, overlaying itself like this, clearly, clearly not the most regular illustrator. When I'm doing this little lines, I can't. Each different one is clearly a different shape. So hopefully, it reads as more of a distinct pattern. When viewed at a distance, or we can chalk up the differences to being the way that the folds do, creases, that kind of thing. One of the interesting things about having something like OBS is you start feeling like you should use it for stuff. So goodness knows I might start using it for more other stuffs than this, than just the live drawing thing. Deselect, where are you? There you are. And if it does, then I'm sure I will find a way of saying as such, if that is a thing. Sorry for being a little bit quiet right now. trying not to be. I'm also wanting to make sure I get this looking in a way that I like, or, you know, that I'm okay with. I think will look decent. These moments where I just stop like that, I'm usually sitting back to get a good look at it and see how it looks from a slight remove. I kind of like this pattern, even though I have to acknowledge it's not quite a pattern in its regularity. That's one of the things I was saying, where I'm not exactly the same sort of artist as drawing the same line, you know, like the same thing on the pattern exactly the same each time I've drawn it. I suppose I could probably just draw one and then repeat it over and over, you know, like copy and paste it over and over again. But that's not where we are right now, so thought for later, maybe. And I do think this looks okay in the sense that it's something that's being folded and moved by as a fabric is. And fiddling with bits and pieces here and there. No, don't want to erase. What, you really, that, for serious, that is all? What? That's all one line? That's the weirdest thing. Alright, well, we'll just do this, and then we'll do this. So there's still something there after I've done that. I'm going to use vector to deal with this one, I think. Here we are. Probably don't want vector. I want to do more than vector with this one, because I just want that one to just be a gone. That worked out pretty well. Sure, I like that. It's okay. Yeah. And then I wonder what percentage of this stream is simply me making funny noises. Because that is a legitimate part of my conversation. That's sometimes just funny noises when something weird happens that I'm not entirely convinced is what I'm looking for. Like when a line disappears, it's not supposed to go away. That goes. And that was too much. This might be the part where I'm being a little too compulsive. In the detail work end of things, when I should still be finishing some of the bigger lines, if you will. Da da da. There we go. Maybe. Let's do this one a little more like that. There we are. Like that. And that. Alright, so that's really starting to be a little more ship-shaped. Yeah. There we are. That's more like that. That's what I was looking for. Nope. There we are. There we are. There. Ah! Alright, let's step back again. We'll take a good view of where things stand on this. Alright, let's put this back in alignment here. Now keep in mind that these are not going to be blue in general. And that's funny noise is part of being human. Well, thank you. I'm glad to be able to replicate human then. Okay. Should jump back up here again really, really briefly. I think that I need to just a little bit of this. Just a little bit. By which I mean apparently a lot. Need vector. La 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 la. So, this music that we're listening to right now, this ambiance, is worth noting is not really what I've been listening to for music lately. I tend to have very unusually eclectic musical tastes, I guess. In that, well, I mean, if I were talking about what genres of music in terms of the types of sounds, the audio language, if you will, that appeals to me a lot of it tends to fall under, let's say jazz, blues, ska, some what do you call it, classical music, and classical music. Oh, and I do like Celtic music, and Celtic rock can be pretty fun. But that said, the stuff I listen to, generally speaking, actually tends to be of the soundtrack persuasion. Not necessarily this, like songs that have been chosen that are being sung, but like music that is orchestrated to like certain parts of like events within a story, like music that is like background music that is intended to evoke some kind of an environment or events or things like that. Those are the kinds of musics I tend to enjoy, because I like the way that they make my brain imagine things and evoke things. Like I listen to a lot of different video game music. A large percentage of my soundtracks, of my music library, actually comes from video game soundtracks of some degree or another. I have recently downloaded a Hat in Time, I think it is Hat in Time. It's like an old platformer, like N64 style platformer, like Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie style thing. And I haven't really gotten a chance to play the game much, but I did end up getting the soundtrack, and the soundtrack is very interesting. It has some fun, interesting tunes. I really enjoy its boss themes, because I do rather enjoy boss music, because it tends to be very punchy and exciting, and it's kind of a leitmotif. That is to say, music that is like the theme song of a particular character. So, like the boss music of a game is generally speaking the leitmotif, which is what that is. For that character, and they have some very good ones in there. One of them is called, it's like a boss, the boss fight is against like a Satan type figure, I think, and the name of that tune is Your Contract Has Expired, which is really nicely evocative titling for that kind of a thing. And that soundtrack has a lot of interestingly evocative titles. Just to say that the titles themselves, some of them are very interesting. Like there's one which is called Clock Towers Beneath the Sea, and that just, I haven't even played the game, so I haven't seen literally what those clock towers beneath the sea would look like, but just the name right there is just really, that's a cool name. That sounds like something that should be in a Dungeons and Dragons game or something like that, like that kind of a scenario. I mean, there's another track called The Temple of Goats, and that's one of those ones that could sound either really kind of creepy, or it could be kind of funny, was what I was going to say, is kind of a comical thing, but then you have all that weird, should I say, like creepy imagery about goats and demons and that kind of thing, and how goats' eyes are so weird, and it kind of can be one of those things that can go either way, depending if you're thinking of goats as cute and funny or creepy or what, and that's, or even say pan focused as opposed to demon focused, satyrs and Greek mythology, that kind of thing. So a lot of interesting titles. I think my favorite title I saw in the track list is called "You Are Now Legally a Bird," and just that is a really interesting title. It just makes your brain think of interesting things like, oh, you have to fill out your paperwork to be a bird, and that's, I guess it's a long way to go to describe just some of the things that interest me in that's weird. I was having a really slight delayed reaction. But yeah, I do tend to listen to a lot of soundtracks, a lot of game soundtracks, because game soundtracks are really about evoking a setting or event or character. And movie soundtracks and things like that, and cartoon soundtracks and things can be really, really good at that too. But it's something that video game soundtracks really strongly do. I also tend to enjoy them too because there's a lot of the older ones have a really they didn't have a lot to work with in terms of the sound chips and that sort of thing that they were doing in their games. So they had to really make the core of the song be really very strong and readable and stand on its own, So, that's why you get a lot of really powerful earworm, but in a good way, kind of songs from the old 8-bit and 16-bit games, is because Super Mario had only so much to work with, so it had to have what it did do with a strong bass line and beat and everything. Had to do it on all cylinders to be memorable and keep with you instead of being annoying after it was repeating itself a dozen times. So yeah, I guess that's why I have so many game soundtracks these days. Not that that's the only kind of music I have with me, but it is one I have a great deal of. And interestingly enough, not that I don't like dialogue or lyrics in songs, but I do kind of like a lot of the ones that are instrumental because I have a hard time understanding lyrics without knowing what they actually are. I know everyone has those things where they sometimes will hear a different thing than what's actually being sung, but that's pretty much always what I have going for me. So that's a thing too. Well, I feel like I've made some kind of progress on this, so that is a good thing. And I've discussed a number of unusual topics, which are hopefully entertaining or interesting or not boring, at the very least. I'll take this. Oh, no, it was supposed to be an eraser. I selected the eraser. Nerd. Alright, let's look at this. Okay. So, kind of looking okay so far, so that's good. So, let's try a little something here. Oh, actually, I wonder what this will do. Probably nothing. Yep, that's what I thought. Didn't do anything. But if I do this, yeah, there we go. Looks kind of really. Now let's see if I do this. Kind of looks like a thing now. Hope that looks okay. I mean, I guess I'm going to need to refine a few things here and there. But yes, they're kind of sort of skulls, really. That was the idea. Is sort of weird, vaguely skull-like shapes, while being abstract enough that it wasn't really 100% what they were. I can see where they kind of look a little bit like ghosts too, but the initial idea was skulls. They are probably going to be either white, or the lines that make them up are going to be white. I haven't decided if they're going to be whited in, or if just the lines that make them up are going to be white. That is something I have yet to decide. I figured that, with her, with her being as goth as heck, I guess, because I'm not sure to what degree I should be swearing on this channel, that a skull motif would be a good one for her embroidering trim and that sort of thing on her gown. And it now does look a lot. Yes, she poops bats. That's right, B. She poops bats. And they flutter around in the toilet and get messy. So you have toilet bats. We're classy here, we are. So I've been doing this for about an hour and 39 minutes according to my OBS timer thing. I feel like I have made some kind of progress, which is nice and fun and happy. I am not entirely sure that I can still keep doing this right now. So I think now is probably a good time for me to take a... Yeah, thank you, B. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I think now is the time that I'm probably going to cut this stream short until the next time. So we will bring back the friendly, happy, no stream dragon, and go forward from there. So, hey, thanks for watching this, whether or not you're someone who's watching it now or who will be watching it in the future, as a pre-done stream. So you'll be in the future watching the past, or, that kind of thing. Anyway, thanks for being here. I'm gonna go rest and stuff now. Have a good night.